Okay, commissioners, ladies and gentlemen, the Monday, April 28th, 2025 meeting of the Village of Forest Park Village Council will come to order. We begin our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you're able, please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, liberty. Madam Deputy Clerk, would you call the roll?
Commissioner Maxim.
Here.
Commissioner Nero.
Here.
Commissioner Mellon Ragoven.
Here.
Commissioner Vogt.
Here.
Mayor Hoskins.
Here. Okay, approval of the minutes from the April 14th special meeting of the council. Is there a motion to approve? Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxam. Is there a second?
Sure, Nero second.
Okay, it's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Discussion? Okay, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Maxim.
Aye.
Commissioner Nero.
Aye.
Commissioner Mellon Ragoven.
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. Okay, approval of minutes from the April 14th regular council meeting. Is there a motion to approve? Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxam. Is there a second?
Sure, Nero second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Discussion?
Just have one small,
Commissioner
I-
Vogt.
thank you. I wanted to make one small addition to the minutes for my commissioner's report. I wrote out the sentence for you there. It's the commissioner stated, yada, yada, and I just wanted to add after specific questions related to the zoning updates. So I just wanted to include that in that section, and I wrote it out for you there.
Okay, so we're going to vote absent any objection to Commissioner Vogt's insertion. We're going to vote as amended. Are there any objections?
What is the change? What was it?
Two statements I made just got smushed together and I wanted to separate them. One of them was about the zoning issue, so I just wanted to include that in there.
No objections?
No, sir.
All right. Madam Deputy Clerk.
Commissioner Maxim. Aye. Commissioner Nero.
Aye.
Commissioner Mellon Ragoven.
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. Okay, we're at public comment.
Marilyn. Hi, you could come up here too.
Sure.
I'm
Please
Marilyn
identify yourself before you make your comment.
Sure. I'm Marilyn Janswitz. I live at 7753 Van Buren, first of the two condo buildings in the Grove. And I'm hoping to inform you of something and then hopefully you can consider it. But Van Buren Street, which Mr. Glinke told me is the county is responsible for that street. But it's bad. It is really bad and it's getting worse. I tried a year ago to contact a few people, wasn't successful, but that's before I knew that the county is responsible for that. Now, all the CTA buses go back and forth on that road. So it's pretty beat up. And even in the winter where the potholes are, the buses are kind of, slipping and sliding in those areas. So I want to bring your attention to it. I don't know where it would belong, but it's there. I was thinking, well, if you're going to do this whole plan with all these different entities involved, maybe you can get the county to redo that road. So that's all. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
Mr. Armstrong.
Good evening. My name is Gene Armstrong. I live at 7753 Van Buren in Forest Park. I am involved with the Grove Mid-Rise Condominium Association, and condo owners who have been following the leasing of property at the Grove for a private cucumber garden have asked me to inquire if the village might lease plots south of the Altenheim building to condo owners for their private vegetable gardens and maybe flower gardens. And so I promised I would come and raise that question. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, there is no more public comment for this evening. Under communications, there was a Public Works, thank you. Any reaction or discussion of the Public Works, thank you?
I was just, I'll just comment briefly that we have a intervillage agreement to help our neighbors when they need it. And this was just a wonderful example of Forest Park coming to the aid of one of our neighbors. I believe it was North Riverside. And again, the outstanding service that our Public Works Department provides, not only to our residents, but with this interagency agreement that we have to help our neighboring villages, and then they in turn would help us. Our Public Works Department was noted as being there in their time of need, and we're very proud of them. So congratulations, Public Works.
Okay. And moving to department reports, we have a fire department report. Any comment or reaction to the fire department report?
As always, the report was really great, but I wanted to give a special thanks to Lieutenant Reed, who is doing apparently some recruitment efforts, which are really important considering it's not as easy these days to recruit firefighters as it was, when some of our old timers, were joining the department. So I know that's an issue, and I think it's really great that you guys are proactively working on that. Thank you.
All right. Okay, we're at bills by resolution. Madam Clerk, whenever you're ready.
Be it resolved by the Council of the Village of Forest Park, Cook County, Illinois, that we dispense with the reading of the individual bills inasmuch as each department head has approved and signed bills in the following aggregate amount for their respective departments. Refunds and allocations, $8,632.14. Public Affairs, $24,814.90. Police Department, $9,365.71. Community Center, $2,599.74. Accounts and Finance, $301,142.01. Fire Department, $1,411.41. Department of Health and Safety, $3,283.32. Streets and Public Improvements, $1,349.40. Public Property, $37,911.20. Seizure, $496. Federal Customs, $2,224.50. TIF, $12,347.70. VIP, $45,077.99. Water Department, $969,308.59 for a total of $1,419,964.61.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. Commissioners, is there a motion to adopt the resolution on the bills? Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxam. Is there a second? It's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim. Aye. Commissioner Nero. Commissioner Mellon Ragovan.
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt. Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is Resolution R40-25.
Okay, Commissioners, moving down to new business. The first item is a presentation by the Traffic Safety and Traffic Commission for the work plan for 2025.
Good. All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Drew DePriest. For those I haven't met before, I've been serving on the Safety and Traffic Commission for a little over 2 years now, and was asked about 6 months ago by Commissioner Mellon McGovern to take over as the chair. So it's been about 6 months. And in that 2 years span, this is the first time that we've had the privilege to be invited to put together a more proactive plan. Historically, safety and traffic has been someone comes to the village and says, hey, we have issues with, we need a stop sign, or people are running people over on different intersections. It's been much more reactive. So we're very happy to have put together, and Burhan Syed with our commission is sitting right here, with credits to the others who've been a part of this. It's been a work in progress for a couple months, so we're pleased to present this to you this evening. Welcome any and all questions, challenges. Effectively, this is how we intend to spend the next roughly 8 months. We took it out to a calendar year. So here we go. What this really is going to break down into is kind of 3 areas. So from a proactive perspective, we're looking at things along either policy guidance, things that we can recommend to you all to potentially take action on, public engagement. What are some ways that we can, as it says, go out into the village and better understand proactively as a 2-way means of communication? And then from a third point, we've been trying to figure out for a number of months, Burhan can attest, how do we make it more efficient and easier for people to engage with safety and traffic in particular, but as well as other commissions outside of Michelle responding to comments on Facebook. So trying to get that a little bit better. We're going to take these one at a time, and apologies if it's a little bit too hard to read. So from a policy perspective, we've really highlighted kind of 3 areas, and the first one being off-street parking, something that has been seemingly kind of bubbling around. What are some suggestions that we can take from the commission as well as out in the village, and just really hear people and give some guidance on what would make this better for everybody. The second point around collaboration with the Environmental Control Commission, there's been 2 main points that have come up, but I think more realistically, trying to collaborate with them and others who have overlap with safety and traffic as well is going to make everything even better. So the big 2, Michelle could talk to you about shopping carts being left at the Blue Line station and literally anywhere else around the village and what that means. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because it's a deep one, but something that we want to take a look at pretty closely. And then the second one, I've had conversations with some of the environmental control folks, and the concept of a bike path very much overlaps both areas. It's something we've been talking about as a commission for a while now. Something that we want to get a broader coalition and really make a concerted effort on guidance for policy there. And then the last one, something that was really a little bit bigger of an issue amongst our group when the city was looking at reducing speed limit down to 25 miles per hour. But again, treating this as a 2-way conversation, going out into the village, getting feedback from people to understand preferences. What are some ways that current speed limit could be impacted? What could make things better? So something that we want to keep an eye on. And then from an engagement perspective, this first one's a little bit of a gimme because it's already well underway. The Bike Safety Carnival, which is May 31st,
Yes.
right? Cool. Is a very easy win. So the more that we can help promote bike safety on the streets, again, that seeks to just drive safety even higher. And then the 2 other ones, a town hall, something that Michelle and I and a few others have been kicking around for a bit, just having a session similar to this, but a much more open kind of dialogue with anyone who chooses to come, specifically to talk about safety and traffic issues, things that, we may make suggestions on. Here's what we tend to hear most commonly. Here are some things that we may not have heard in the last 6 months, 12 months, and to also share some kinds of things in addition to the work plan. Where are we kind of running into constraints? Things around, does the village own a road? Does the state own it? Does a county own it? And just kind of get a bit broader understanding for everybody around the guardrails within which we're working. And then lastly, a little similar to the Bike Safety Carnival, Pedestrian Safety Month is in October of this year. There's a lot of free resources federally that go into marketing campaigns and those kinds of things. Seems like something we should be involved in as well. And then lastly, from a reactive perspective, we have, I feel like we've over-scienced part of this in some of our commission meetings, looking at how neighboring villages make it somewhat easier and more automated for anyone in the village to submit, people are driving too fast on my street, or we would propose we should get a stop sign at this intersection. All of the different ways that people try to submit comments to us. Oak Park uses an online web form. My opinion, it goes a little deep. I think there's 34 different metrics and points that they score it on and then prioritize it. But just a way that we could, again, move things out of, I heard that this street had an issue, or Michelle read something in a Facebook group. How do we more proactively enable folks to share their concerns throughout the village? So that's the 7-minute version of all the things we're going to try to do this year. We put some quarters to it, but frankly, I think just as time allows and we have space to do it, we're going to tackle it. So any questions, outright challenges or concerns? Or?
Thank you, Drew. I think one of the things that we want to emphasize is that safety and traffic impacts the work of the commission, impacts so many areas of the village and the village staff's everyday work. And our attempt to put together this work plan with Administrator Entler and and Director Stella was to say, how do we make this process cohesive, meaningful for receiving public input and being responsive to community residents, but also making sure that we are working hand in glove with our police department, who are out there every day, our village staff and our public works department, who are out there every day providing those services, and to be as efficient and effective with resources as possible. And so this was our way of harmonizing that, but also emphasizing and prioritizing things that we could address in the coming year. So, and the commission has done a great job in highlighting the work that we want to do. And it's very rewarding to work with such engaged residents.
Commissioner Maxim.
Yeah, I have actually a bunch of questions, so bear with me. I want to say, first of all, thank you so much for coming here. And I love what you said about being proactive. I think that that's really important. And I love that it's, I don't love that it's the first time you've had a chance to do that, but that you've sort of been able to think about, what might be problems that would come up instead of reacting to problems that have come up. And I've worked with, both of you in different capacities and know you both to be extremely intelligent and, at least I think in both cases, very data-driven people. The first question I have is related to sort of your overall role as a commission. When we look at the code, it's very kind of vague about it, and it talks about public input on traffic conditions on village streets, promoting educational activities related to traffic, pedestrian and bike safety. And on the website, it talks about, where it is, investigates traffic-related issues and recommends to the village council rules and regulations concerning the operation of vehicles and the movement of pedestrians on the roadways. So one of the issues that, I started thinking about, because the permit parking program was on the list, and I know that that came from Administrator Entler. And Rachel, I'm not trying to be like, raining on anyone's parade, but in some ways I feel like, permit parking program doesn't really fall under the purview as described of this commission. And I'm definitely not one to say, we shouldn't go above and beyond, but I also am kind of questioning in general, when we have a commission and we have a defined role, in some cases like the PZC, it's much more defined. when they start delving into issues like architectural review, they're told, okay, stop, that's not your purview, and they're not allowed to sort of move into that area because that isn't what they're sort of assigned to do. So I think what I want to get feedback on from the other commissioners, and there's another issue, on here that's kind of falls under that too, is, do we want to change the purview of this commission so that it's expanded? Or are we okay with the commission doing a great job, but sort of touching on things that maybe don't necessarily fall under the definition as written? So that's my first question that I kind of have more for my fellow council members than for you necessarily. And I mean, no offense, and I'm not trying to be antagonistic. It's just, occurred to me while I was looking over the presentation.
I'll,
Hold on a second.
go ahead.
So this is a presentation
Yeah.
for the commission,
Yeah, go
right?
ahead.
If you have a question specific to their presentation, go ahead and ask that, please. The discussion about, the larger role of the commission, that is outside the scope of Drew's presentation.
I agree with you, but I'm going to respectfully say that since we're going to be asked to vote on this next month or at the next meeting, I'm not sure when it is, I think having an answer on whether this is something that we want to move forward with or not, or, instruct the group to move forward with or not is pertinent and relevant.
May I say something?
Is that within the scope of the presentation?
I'm unclear what's being voted on next month.
We have to approve their plan.
Again, is the plan related to the presentation or not?
Yes.
Well, I mean, this is a presentation for what the committee does.
Yes.
It's a comment by Commissioner Maxim, I get it, but whether this council wants to entertain that discussion now is up to you. You can do it if you want. If you don't, you can kick it down the road.
Good comment?
So why don't we all maybe have one comment,
Mhm.
but we have some other stuff to take care of tonight. We're not here to discuss the wider role of all the commissions and whether to expand their scope. Drew, I appreciate your presentation. It was professionally done. We'll take comments and then we're going to wrap up this presentation.
First, thank you for your presentation and thank you for, we've got just two of the members here tonight. Thank you for your service on the board. I would say, I do agree that if we're approving the plan in the next meeting or two, it's worth having a little bit of a discussion about this and maybe we can think about that and have it at the next meeting. I would suggest that off-street parking could still be a part of it, at least in the sense of it. Part of that discussion is about safety. I've heard a lot of people sort of give me their opinions on whether we should let overnight parking happen, for instance. And a lot of people say that that is a safety issue, kids running out between cars and stuff like that. So I think if we have a volunteer group that is willing to do some of the initial outreach on the discussion, we could limit the scope of that. Maybe they aren't making policy change recommendations, but maybe it's sort of dialed into something as it does relate to traffic and safety. Just throwing that out there.
Commissioner Nero or Commissioner Alvarado?
I'm not a big fan of wasting people's time. So I guess what I would do is, with the help of Administrator Entler to be able to filter all this. In other words, I would hate for the commission, or Drew and his team to, in 2 weeks' time or a month's time, to come back at council and then we sit here and box over a bunch of items that they decided was a good idea to put it on agenda for no reason. So if there's an issue perhaps with some of the items in your presentation, maybe we kick those comments to Rachel, so maybe they don't even find their way to an agenda. So if that's what the majority of the team thinks, might be a good idea. Otherwise, we're going to sit here and waste the commission's time and try to come up with a plan that maybe otherwise would never pass.
I have another comment. I'm frustrated because at the last meeting, I called you out for not wanting to have public discussion about the Altenheim, and I feel like you're doing it again and you're shutting me down right now when I'm trying to have a discussion with the council about an issue that we're going to have to vote on soon. And I think it's very important that we talk about those things, like Commissioner Nero said, so we don't waste anybody's time. So we're honest about how we feel. So we give them some guidance, which they're here asking for as part of their presentation.
I would like to just suggest that the appropriate avenue, in my view, is the commission has presented a draft. This is not an approved plan. We have to approve it. I'm happy to follow up with each person on the council to get your feedback and your comments and in preparation for, and to synthesize those and to get that ready for an upcoming review where we would, in consideration of a vote, have a discussion and decide where to go from there. But I think my role as helping with traffic and safety can be a facilitator for that because the commission is volunteer.
And we have expanded the roles of the commissions within the last year. You know, a couple years ago, we created a mental health board. We've created a system where the boards will prepare a report, present to the council, and the council later approves the plan and gives them a sense of how to move forward. And if anyone has some really specific ways to better streamline the process or even amend the purview of these boards and commissions, then we can certainly entertain those thoughts, anything to improve the process. Drew, thank you for your presentation tonight, and thank you to the members of the Safety and Traffic Commission.
Thank you.
For the record, I had a lot more to say.
Okay, Commissioners, next item under new business, a resolution authorizing the approval of pay request number 2 for the 2024 lead service replacement. This is for stage 1, and the payment is to Joel Kennedy Construction Corporation. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Mellon Ragovan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been seconded by Commissioner Vogt. Discussion? Okay, there's no discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim.
Aye.
Commissioner Nero. Commissioner Mellon Ragovan.
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is resolution 41-25.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Commissioners, next item is a resolution approving change order number 2 to the contract with Verigy for the water meter replacement project and AMI project. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Mellon Ragovan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Vogt. Discussion? There's no discussion, Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim. Commissioner Nero. Commissioner Mellon Ragovan.
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is resolution 42-25.
Commissioners, next item is a resolution approving an encroachment fee and waiver letter agreement regarding 7603 and 7607 Madison Street in Forest Park. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Vogt. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Mellon Ragovan. Discussion? All right, there's no discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim.
Aye.
Commissioner Nero. Commissioner Mellon Ragovan.
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye.
This is resolution 43-25.
Okay, next is an Arbor Day proclamation. Would you like to read the proclamation?
Sure. Whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day to set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can be a solution to combating climate change by reducing the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, moderating the temperature, cleaning the air, producing life-giving oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable source, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Therefore, Roy Hoskins, Mayor of the City of Forest Park, hereby proclaims Friday, April 25th as Arbor Day in the City of Forest Park. And we urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And we urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Clerk. Commissioners, is there a motion to adopt the proclamation?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Vogt. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Mellon Rogovan. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim? Commissioner Nero? Commissioner Mellon Rogovan?
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt?
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins?
Aye. Commissioners, next item is a motion to approve two appointments to the following boards and commissioners. Steve Rummel for the Planning and Zoning Commission and Ian Nosek to the Library Board. Is there a motion? Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxham. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Mellon Rogovan. Discussion?
Are any of the candidates here?
Yes, Ian is
Ian.
here.
Ian? Okay. Just thank you for volunteering.
It's excellent candidates and look forward to their service.
Madam Deputy Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim? Commissioner Nero? Commissioner Mellon Rogovan?
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt?
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins?
Aye. All right, Commissioners, next item is a motion to approve a raffle permit request from the Kiwanis Club of Oak Park River Forest. Actually, we're seeking ratification, not a motion to approve. Is there a motion to ratify? Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxham. Is there a second? It's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Discussion? All right, there's no discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim? Commissioner Nero? Commissioner Mellon Rogovan?
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt?
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins?
Aye. Commissioners, next item is a motion to approve a raffle permit request from the Kiwanis Club of Forest Park in the St. Luke's St. Bernardine Parish. Is there a motion? Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxham. Is there a second? It's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Discussion? All right, there's no discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim? Commissioner Nero? Commissioner Mellon Rogovan?
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt?
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins?
Aye. Commissioners, next item is a motion to approve a request to use the public way. This is by Opportunity Knox. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Vogt. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Mellon Rogovan. Discussion?
Mayor?
Commissioner Vogt.
Just one brief thing. I know when they approached Administrator Entler, and when she told me about it, I think we had the same idea. And that we said, this is, a great idea, but we know a lot of people at the Grove would like to have a place to potentially grow some things and do some plantings nearby. And we said that we would like to see some partnership there with other folks in the community. So if you guys are interested in that, you can reach out to us and we can put you in touch with them. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? All right, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Maxim. Commissioner Nero. Commissioner Mellon Rogovan.
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt.
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. All right, Commissioners, the final item under new business tonight is a motion to approve the request for a Juneteenth flag raising ceremony. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Mellon Rogovan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Vogt. Discussion? Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim? Commissioner Nero? Commissioner Mellon Ragovan?
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt? Mayor Hoskins?
Aye. All right, we're administrators report.
Good job, Meg. It's always, the first time a deputy clerk has to clerk for the regular clerk is always nerve wracking. I did it myself, and then I know in the past we've had staff. So Meg, I just wanted to give you a shout out. You did it today. We had some technical hiccups that we got through before 7 o'clock. So nice job.
All right, Commissioners reports. Commissioner Maxim.
I do have a report. I'm offended and appalled, Rory, that I was not allowed to ask more questions, or that this council was not allowed to have a discussion about a presentation that was being made. I have never been shut down before during a presentation. The group specifically asked if we had questions. It was a Q&A, I thought. I had a lot of other comments and questions, and I don't understand why you would sit here and decide not to allow that to happen, to shut down conversation among us as a group in one of the only opportunities we have to discuss something as a group. You were interviewed for the newspaper and you said, well, you know, commissioners should call each other and talk to each other one-on-one, which is great. And we can do that, and we do that. But when we have an opportunity and the willingness to talk together as a group, we should be allowed to take that opportunity. And I think it's a dereliction of duty for you to shut down a public conversation. Thank you.
Commissioner Nero.
That was sarcastic. So check it out. We had a budget review meeting, or our first budget meeting, like 2 weeks ago. Great job. Team did a great job. But I think, you know, in all my time here, 6 years or so, whatever it's been, I sit here and I watch residents will come up, and they're usually asking for something or complaining about something. And, you know, we're usually up here asking for something or complaining about something. But I want to just let everybody know that the village is from, and I know it's not my department, but it's more like a call to action, or maybe just let everybody know what's up. That you should all, if you are so inclined to understand really what's happening financially with the Village of Forest Park, show up to these in-person meetings. Show up and pay attention, because it'll really help you understand where some of this stuff shakes out. There's a lot of asks by our department heads on things we need in the Village of Forest Park that I don't think we can do. I bet you didn't know that. I think you should know that. I'm really sitting on probably the last or the next 2 years thinking about things that have been offered to the residents as a normal level of service that will change unless something changes. And something could change. We sit and sometimes talk about nickel and diming, you know, finding ways for sources of revenue in the Village of Forest Park. Okay. Comes up all the time, every single budget meeting. And the budget meetings under Administrator Entler have been fantastic. There's ownership and accountability, and there's actionable items, due dates, and all these wonderful things that I appreciate. But the one thing that's missing with all of it is measurable sources of revenue. So I'm getting there. The measurable sources of revenue, you have to, and please shoot me an email. Excuse me, this is the Italian thing coming out. But I'm super happy to meet with you and talk to you if you have ideas, because one of the things, if you look at your tax bill, and this will be the third time I think I've said this publicly, once in a meeting like this, once in the last budget meeting, and once right now, that a large portion of your tax bill goes to our school systems, District 91 and Proviso. We get 14%-ish to run the village here. We do. 14% to build, to keep the infrastructure up, to pay the bills, to pay the staff, to plant the flowers, all the wonderful things that we've all come accustomed to for very many years. So here's the problem with that. 64%-ish of that tax bill goes to the schools. We get 14% of it. One of those schools is shut down. The other schools are barely at occupancy or 60% occupancy. And yet per student, it's about $33,000 per student to go to the public school systems here. That's way more than some of the best private schools, at least in Illinois, dare I say the country. So it's wrong. It's not right. I'm not saying that we have to withhold, a student's education, but we could right size it. And if we right size it, we get more money back into the Village of Forest Park to do the things that we need to do to maintain the level of service that we've all become accustomed to. So that being said, if there's any wild ideas or comments on that or avenues to pursue, hit me up. I'm sure myself and the rest of these commissioners, because they all sat in the same budget meeting as I did, or the mayor, would be happy to hear them. If there's somewhere I have to go, a door I have to knock on, or somebody I have to call, I'm an extension of y'all. Y'all voted me in. And in the next 2 years, if we can make something like that happen, measurable, sustainable revenue in the terms of millions of dollars versus $10, $20, $30,000, that's a big deal. So if you want to show up at a meeting, show up at the budget meeting, you want to have something to do and participate and have some influence, come on down. I know we're going to have another one. It hasn't been posted yet. That's the first thing. The other thing is 2 weeks ago, I was really hoping to get this is another thing that I believe is holding the village back. If you drive down Harlem Avenue, you will see there's a vacant property. I was going to sit on my hands on this one, but I just really wish that we tabled. I did not. It was tabled. Can't do anything with it. Can't come off the table until it's voted off. Can't be voted off the table until it comes onto an agenda. And I just ask, please, the next meeting, if we could just, I'm not saying we're going to vote on it, Mayor, but if we could just have it as old business so it could come off the table. And then maybe at a future meeting or some kind of thing, whatever that means amongst us as commissioners, getting involved with the community, figure out what the path forward is for that zoning. Because it really is from a progress standpoint in the village, it's holding back projects. Whether you like the way the zoning was presented or not does not matter. It is holding back projects in town that will generate revenue, that helps to support the services that you like. That's real, okay? Arguing over this, that, and the other thing is not. But we can get it off the table, and then we can have those discussions, and those are important discussions. Those are the two things that I had. One was an ask, one was more of a public service announcement. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Nero. Commissioner Mellon Rogovan.
Yes, I have a couple of announcements. Wanted to encourage village residents to volunteer for our bike safety carnival. This is an event that was mentioned by our chair of our Safety and Traffic Commission. It is a free event, and it is offered by a number of sponsors, including the village and the Park District, to promote safety for families in the village. And we do need volunteers. So we would appreciate anyone who's interested in volunteering to come out. The Forest Park Theater, now called the Forest Theater, is having a celebration for Shakespeare's birthday and a fundraiser for the theater at Piacere Mio on May 4th. I encourage you to participate. May 1st is a series of events to celebrate May Day for the Historical Society of Forest Park. And May 3rd is the Arts Alliance Makers Market at Roberts West Side. These are important events for our community. And it would be great for all of us to participate and to engage in the work of our community. Yeah, I think I'm going to just leave it there.
Thank you, Commissioner Mellon McGovern. Commissioner Vogt.
Thank you. So Arbor Day was on Friday, and it was so much fun this year. I want to thank Betsy Ross and Principal Huff and Nerissa Sita Ramos for all of their help and making it such a fabulous day. We planted an autumn gold ginkgo in the parkway in front of the school, and the students decided to name the tree Ross. And so we just want to thank them for just coming out and celebrating with us. And a special thanks to the Field Stevenson Singing Sharks for their performance. And some students read a poem. So it was just a lovely day. We have to thank Public Works, obviously, for planting the tree, and Director Stella, Rec Board Chair Amy Binns-Kelvey for all of her help. Jeff Binns-Kelvey for making the interactive tree and cutting the leaves that the kids colored and wrote things on. And then thanks to Commissioner Maxim for joining us, along with Village Administrator Entler, Clerk Belmonte, Megan Roach, and Alicia Hammond from the library. I really appreciate their support of that event. And then seeing as how we just celebrated Arbor Day and we approved the proclamation today, I just want to say a couple things about our urban forests and tree care. First, I'm excited to announce that our grant from Trees Forever, which had been put on hold, is back on track. And the pause in funding has been lifted. So that grant helps the village offset costs for necessary tree removals. And then since we've received our first Tree City Award over 5 years ago, the village has been awarded many grants that have helped us do so much work towards our goal of having a very healthy, diverse, and growing urban forest. So I appreciate everyone's work on that, including Director Stella and Director Olmsted. And yeah, our trees are a vital resource to this community. So your partnership with the village is essential, and I appreciate that. I want to thank the Illinois Prairie Path volunteers for the opportunity to join them on Saturday morning, this past Saturday, to pick up litter along the path and at the Maywood Trailhead. And that leads me to announce again, if you haven't marked your calendars, the 5th annual Community Spring Cleanup is on May 17th at 9 a.m. The flyer and registration link should be posted tomorrow. So please register and ask all of your friends and neighbors to join us. It's a really lovely day. People come together and we have a good time picking up trash, but it's fun. And we really want to make this our biggest year yet, since this is our 5th year. And I want to give a shout out to Resident and Printing Plus of Roselle small business owner Mark Buroff, because he has generously donated t-shirts for the big event. And so the first 50 people to register and then sign in on the day will get a really adorable shirt. And then, yeah, the last thing is I'm looking forward to this year's May Day celebration on Thursday, May 1st. The Historical Society will be at Forest Home Cemetery from 9 to 4 with a program starting at noon, followed by stories and information about the Haymarket Martyrs Monument, from Amy Binns-Kelvey. She provides monthly tours of Radical Row in the summer, and that'll start around 12:30. And I also want to piggyback on the first budget meeting that we have this year. I really appreciate that we recorded it and posted it online. I know not everybody can make meetings in person, and just these steps that Administrator Entler has been leading to better record these things and stream them for those folks that can't come to meetings. It's really helpful in keeping people informed and helping give them more opportunities to stay informed. So on that note, I will say anyone who's looking to lobby our legislators, we will be going down to Springfield next week again. And that's a great time to talk to our legislators about any major changes we might want to make in our community. So come on down to Springfield next week. And thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Commissioner Vogt. Commissioner Vogt certainly mentioned that May 7th is our lobby day with the West Central Municipal Conference. Earlier last week, someone said, well, what will we be specifically requesting this time? Um, There's still lots of talk in the media about transit reform. If anyone watches general TV, you'll see some commercials from a group called Save Transit Now. They're funded by the RTA. But there is a bill that proposes a consolidation of transit agencies. And as part of that bill to consolidate, there's a provision that would, well, first of all, there's talk about setting up a new transit police force. This is something that went away. The CTA used to have its own police force. But there are other provisions in the reform bill that would have mandated sort of ambassadors that would provide outreach, proactive outreach towards the unhoused, potentially individuals with various issues that sometimes can be a distraction if you're taking public transit. So when we go to Springfield, I'm going to suggest that we take some of the elements involved in public transit that are most impactful to Forest Park. And at our last budget meeting, Chief Hankus had updated some of the numbers reflecting the number of runs that the fire department makes to 7-Eleven Des Plaines. That's the Blue Line terminal. I'm working on getting us a meeting with the governor's staff to present that information directly to the governor's staff, hopefully at the deputy director level, deputy governor level. So before we go, Chief, I'd hope you could update that information for us. We'll be leaving next week. If I get something scheduled, I'll certainly let commissioners know. And in addition to working or at least presenting to the governor's staff, we can also share that with the legislators who may or may not be supportive of the transit consolidation bill. But I think that's one of the issues that's most important to Forest Park. And of course, there are other funding issues important to Forest Park. But the level of response that our fire department is making to 7-Eleven Des Plaines is not sustainable. So I think that's something that we should continue to speak to. So that concludes my commissioner's report. The chair will entertain a motion to recess in the closed session pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C11 to consider litigation. Is there a motion to adjourn in the closed session? It's been moved by Commissioner Nero. Is there a second? It's been seconded by Commissioner Maxim. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim, Commissioner Nero, Commissioner Mellon Ragovan,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt, aye, Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. And I want to remind everyone that we'll be reconvening into open session, hopefully to take care of one more new business under tonight's agenda. We are adjourned into closed session. You have to take a roll again. You have to take a roll again.
Yeah, it says,
Okay, commissioners, we are going to reconvene in the open session. Madam Deputy Clerk, you want to call the roll?
or do we make, do you make a motion?
No.
Okay. Commissioner Maxim,
Here, we're taking roll.
Commissioner Nero, Commissioner Mellon Ragoven,
Here?
Commissioner Vogt.
Here.
Mayor Hoskins.
Here. All right. Commissioners, the purpose of reconvening was to consider a resolution approving a settlement agreement in general release and covenant not to sue that was just recommended to the council. So the chair will entertain a motion to approve the settlement agreement.
I will make the motion.
Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Maxim. Is there a second? Okay, it's been seconded by Commissioner Nero. Discussion. All right, there's no discussion. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim. Commissioner Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Mellon Ragoven,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt. Aye. Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. Thank you, Commissioners. That concludes tonight's business. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. It's been moved by Commissioner Nero. Is there a second? It's been seconded by Commissioner Maxim. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Maxim. Commissioner Nero. Commissioner Mellon Ragoven,
Aye.
Commissioner Vogt,
Aye.
Mayor Hoskins.
Aye. Council, we are adjourned.
Thank